Hi all, welcome to Patashala. Today we are going to start the subject of income tax, where income tax totally has got 15 chapters. In that we'll start the first chapter today, that is basic concepts of income tax. Let me take you through the concepts of income tax. When it comes to the basic concepts of income tax, this is altogether a separate act that we need to study, where right from the basics we need to study the act, because the terminologies that we learn in this income tax subject are really special and the definitions are little unique. So what all we are going to study in this subject are like this. First we will see the components of income tax law, and mine tax liability. Chapter, you will also understand the determination of residential status, classification of income under various heads, computation of income under various heads, the clubbing provisions, set off and carry forward of losses, computation of total income, the various deductions which are available, and computation of tax liability. This will be one set of part of your basics. Then, as I told you, income tax subject is really a special one, where you learn such an important definition. The nomenclatures which are used under income tax are little special. So, like these words you will be using here called assessee, assessment, person, income, India, assessment year, previous year, and what is agricultural income. Now, generally in a general terminology, the definition may have a separate meaning, but in taxation it will be really special. As I told you, a new definitions and new meanings are being given here, which are confined only for the purpose of income tax law. Concepts what we are going to study. No. So the basic subject of income tax can be studied in two parts. The first thing that we have to understand is that the word income. The first you have to understand a word called income. The second that you need to understand what is a tax. In a layman's language, before we go into the technicalities, let's try to understand the word called income. In a common sense, that income is what comes in. It's absolutely wrong. The word income means what you earn without earning something. So the first thing is that the technical word that you need to understand, what is a income. Income doesn't mean which is coming in, or all receipts cannot be termed as income. So what is called as income as per the income tax law, or what will be taxable here is the something which you earn. Okay. Then on the earned income to the government, we have to pay something called tax. So the question arises, what do you mean by tax? So the question arises, what do you mean by tax? The surprising fact is, the act that we are going to study is Income Tax Act 1961. This Total Income Tax Act 1961 has got 298 sections and 14 schedules. is there is no definition for the word called tax. The tax has not been defined in any of these sections. Called tax. The great personalities are okay. So if you see this, the now this is what is the definition of income tax which is given. Okay. So if you see that taxation includes imposition of tax or imposed by general or local bodies, etc. But they have not given a definition for the word called tax. But that with a general understanding, we have something fixed for the word called tax, and that is nothing but taxes are considered as cost of living in the society. So the cost of living in the society. It is cost of living in the society. So it is defined as cost of living in the society, and your contribution to the society, what you are doing, being a part of the society, what is your contribution is nothing but your taxes. Okay, or it is generally said as it is a revenue to the government. The taxes are levied by the governments. So who is going to levy this tax is government. For what purpose government will collect the taxes from us? Taxes from us for the purpose of health, security, etc., defense, military, maintenance, lot of expenditure will be there for the government which they have to maintain. So from where the government is going to get the revenue? The government is going to get the revenue in the form of taxes. Okay, so thus taxes is called as what we have to pay to the society is cost of living in the society. Okay, these taxes are broadly categorized as two types. This taxes is broad the direct tax, another one is called as a indirect tax. So what is this direct tax? What is this indirect tax? How to understand this? I'll give you an examples how to understand your direct taxes and indirect taxes. Okay, let's types of taxes that we have. Taxes are broadly categorized into two types. One is called as direct tax, another one is called indirect tax. Broadly categorized into two types. One is called as a direct tax, another one is called as a indirect tax. What levied on a person, whereas indirect taxes are those taxes which are not levied on any person, rather it is levied on various goods and services that a person consumes. Okay, now what are the examples that we have of our direct taxes and indirect tax? Once upon a time, in your direct taxes, we used to have three types of taxes. First one was income tax, second one was wealth tax, third one was gift tax. When it comes to the first one, income tax, it is a tax on income. Whatever the person earns money, on that he has to pay some part of the revenue to the government, that is called as income tax. The second tax that we had in direct tax was wealth tax. What is the meaning of the word wealth tax? If a person is having a wealth, what do you mean by wealth? Wealth is nothing but assets. Say for example, a person has a building, a person has a car, a person has a jewelry. Like that, they have defined what is that wealth. On that wealth, we have to pay tax to the government, whatever you own. And the last one was gift tax. If a person is giving a gift by one person to another person, on that also they are liable to pay taxes. But gift tax is way back abolished in 1980s and wealth tax is abolished in 2015. So today in direct taxes, we have only one tax and that tax is income tax. So what is that income tax? Ante it is a tax levied on the income earned by a person. Now why this income tax is called as a direct tax? The person who is earning that income, that fellow alone has to pay the taxes. The taxes burden cannot be shifted onto another person. That's the reason it is called as a income tax. For that, a simple example is you will get a income from a source. There is a person. Now this person will render some services to the source where that source will pay him income. And this person is going to pay directly the tax to government. This person is going to pay directly the tax to government. This type of taxes are called direct taxes. These direct taxes, if a person want to shift the burden onto another person also, highly impossible, that other party will not be ready to bear. Say for example, I am earning income 1 lakh per month. Okay, so if I am earning income 1 lakh per month, on my 1 lakh, I am the person who is liable to pay tax. If I am asking you to pay tax on my income, will you be ready to pay? The answer is obviously no, because I earn the income, I enjoy the income, my family will enjoy the income. If I ask you to take that burden, why do you take? You don't take. Similarly, when it comes to indirect taxes, are those taxes which are rather on goods and services. The taxes that we have predominantly today, first one is GST, which you know famous. Today in 2017, this tax was introduced, which was called as goods and service tax. Then the next one is customs duty, which will be levied on the various imports and exports. So like that, these are the two types of indirect taxes which we have. Okay. Now the best example for these indirect taxes is, these are those taxes where a tax burden can be shifted to another person, where I am ready to shift the burden and the another person is ready to take the burden also. Such type of taxes are indirect taxes. Okay, now the example to understand indirect taxes. You know, whatever the products which are being manufactured, all products which are manufactured by the manufacturer, he will not come on the roads and he'll sell, or he'll directly not get into touch with the customers. You know the supply chain management that we have. First, there will be a fellow called manufacturer who will manufacture the goods. He will sell to someone called distributors. Based on the volume that he deals, you may have a single distributor, you may have a multiple distributors. Then the distributor will sell the goods to wholesaler. Wholesaler will sell the goods to retailer, and retailer will sell the goods to a ultimate fellow called customer. So initially, once a manufacturer manufactures the goods, manufacturer will pay the tax to government. So initially the manufacturer paid the tax to government. Then what happens, the manufacturer, when he sells the goods to distributor, he will add in his price the tax and he'll pass on the burden to the distributor. Then distributor will pay the price to the manufacturer, including tax. Then what happens? Distributor will supply the product to wholesaler, including the tax again. Then wholesaler will pay back the price, including tax. Similarly, wholesaler will shift it to retailer. Retailer will give it to wholesaler back. And finally, the retailer will sell it to the customer. Wherever you see, you are a customer and I am also a customer. When we normally go to a particular shop, you buy a particular packed commodity. On that packed commodity, you see it will be written inclusive of all taxes. And we buy this product. So understand now, initially who paid the tax to the government? Initially manufacturer has paid the tax to the government. Manufacturer shifted the burden to distributor. Distributor has shifted the burden to wholesaler. Wholesaler has shifted the burden to retailer, and retailer has shifted the burden to customer. That's the reason customer is called as ultimate bakara, who is going to bear all the taxes, including the cost of the commodity. So these are the two types of taxes which we have in our taxation system. Okay, so if you see here, the definition of taxes are like this. The taxes are broadly categorized into two. One is called as a direct tax, another one is called as a indirect tax. One is income tax, second one is GST, goods and services tax, and the third one is customs duty. These are the two types of taxes which we have. Now, why taxes are levied? This is what is the question asked. Okay, why government is going to levy the taxes? As I just now explained, it is one of the basic source of revenue to the government. So the question arises, sir, who is government? Why have to pay the taxes to the government? What authority that a government has got to collect the taxes from me? Okay, because if you see there, government, you see here, the reasons the levy of taxes is that constitute for the government, it is a basic revenue. The revenue so raised is utilized for the meeting the expenses of defense. If you can see here, you can see here, this is for maintenance of defense. For maintenance of defense. So who is going to pay salaries to military people or armed forces who was protecting you? What we do to them? Nothing. Okay, 15 August 1 salute, 26 January, that what is the contribution that you are doing to them? Nothing. So who is paying them the salaries? Government. Then we have got provision. We have got lot of government schools, government colleges where they give a free education. So education is free. They don't collect any fees for them. But we have to pay huge salaries to the teachers, maintenance, buildings, etc. From where to get the revenue? That is from taxes. Then apart from that, in education system, if you know, they will give you free books, free uniform and midday meals also. Then from where the government will get the revenue to sponsor all these things? That is from taxes. Then we have got healthcare. You know, during the COVID season, okay, everyone was dying. Our government or Indian government has invented certain medicines by various researchers, and the government has given that medicine free for us. From where the government get the revenue? The government get the revenue by way of taxes. Then we have got infrastructural facilities. You see the long highways which are built up, airports which are built up, bridges which are there, dams which are there, all those things comes from there. Facilities like roads, dams, etc. So these are all the things which government is going to do with the money called taxation. Okay. Then who gave the power to levy the taxes? Always remember, there is something supreme in India which is called as constitution. No one is above the constitution. Everyone has to be abide by the constitution. So the constitution is supreme in India. And what this constitution has done, they have divided the governments into three. Many people know that the constitution has divided the government into two. That is wrong. We have three types of governments that we have. One is called, second is state government. The third one is local bodies. Many people that local bodies, government and Ankor. Example, GHMC for us, Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. It's a local body which takes care of the local area. It has got a range through which it has a power. States will have the power for that state. Example, Telangana government. Then central will have the power throughout India. So what this constitution has done, this constitution has bifurcated the powers for the state governments to rule their respective regions, and these bodies are having that power to do it. Example, the central government levies income tax for us in India. State government has got, you know, if your property has to be registered, we have something called stamp duty. That stamp duty is also a tax. Many people don't. It is a fees. No, it's a tax. This is a tax levied by the state government. Or a easy way to understand, many of you might be knowing liquor. On the liquor, state will levy a tax called state excise duty, which will be in all your wine shops and all. Then local bodies, GHMC, they collect something called your municipal taxes. For the various facilities that the government has provided, the local body will collect from you a tax known as a municipal tax to provide the various facilities. So like this, different types of taxes power is being derived from constitution. So let's try to understand what is that power, who gave that power to you. That power has been derived from constitution. In constitution there is an article called article 246. This article 246 some power to levy those taxes. How it is? See, the article 246, as per the 7th schedule, they divided all the taxation matters into 3 lists. List number 1 is a union list, list number 2 is a state list, and list number 3 is a concurrent list. Okay, when it comes to the matter of union list, many people don't know what is a union. Central government is called a union government. So in that union list, the parliament will have exclusive powers to make the laws. So if any law has to be made, it has to come through the parliament. Then if it is a state list, the state list as an assembly, there they'll make the laws. So state government has some powers, central government has got some powers. Example, the central government will tax all incomes in India other than agricultural income, where the agricultural income is being taken by the states. Then where there are certain matters where central government and state government both will tax it, that is your concurrent list. So like that, they have bifurcated the powers with the help of article 246. This is called constitutional authority. Ante who gave you the power? Ante the constitution has given us that power to levy those taxes. So in that, our subject of income tax is in the list 1, and a union list. Income tax is not the power of the state. Income tax is the power of the central government, where through entry number 82 of the union list, central government will levy those taxes, and the definition of that goes something. The important parts that you have to remember is that so entry number 82 of union list will help you. Then this is covered by list 1, and central government will have the power. And article 246, as you know, the Constitution of India has given the power to the parliament. Once we say parliament, this covers entire India. Parliament has power entire India, from Jammu and Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Every part of India, parliament will have a power to make the laws. No one can stop. That's the reason if you see Modi, no one can stop Modi. He will go to Jammu and Kashmir, he will go to Kanyakumari. He has a power throughout India. Then to make laws and the taxes on income, look at this. This is very important. Income other than agricultural income. So the entry itself is saying that we are going to tax all except agricultural income. So agricultural income in India is completely exempt from tax. There is no tax on agricultural income. Clear? So let's go through further. Overview of income tax law. Okay. So once a law is made, what all a law will consist of? Generally, law people feel that it is only an act. That is absolutely wrong. The components of our income tax law has got this all. Okay, why this is important and what it is all. Okay, now if you see that, if you want to really understand the subject of income tax, what are the various things that we have to understand in our income tax law is this all we have to study. First one, we have to study our Income Tax Act. This is the base act. Many of the provisions we get from our Income Tax Act. This Income Tax Act has got 298 sections and 14 schedules. But at the inter level, CA and income tax, hardly we study some 120 to 130 sections at this level. Rest of the sections will be studied at a final level. Okay. Then the most important one, which most of the people don't know, is a Finance Act. Okay. This Finance Act will be introduced every year, and for our June and December examinations, the Finance Act which is required is Annual Finance Act of 2023. Okay. How this Finance Act will come into the picture? This Finance Act will come into the picture through the help of budget. Okay. Let me finish this. Okay. With the help of the budget, every year new Finance Act will come into the picture. Then we have got income tax rules. When the act was made, there are certain points where an act is not clear. So what they want to do, they want to make certain rules and regulations. They use income tax rules. Similarly, we have got, whenever government wants to say something, what they do, they issue the notifications and circulars. So generally circulars are given for office purpose and notifications are given for general public purpose, because government made a change. How does people know that government has made this change? If people wants to know, will Modi will come to door and knock and tell you? No. Simply they issue a notification in the official gazette. Everyone has to read the notification and you should know the applicable law. You cannot say that, sir, I am not aware of it. Nak telidan meer anler. The logic is you have to know the applicable law before you use that particular law. And comes the last one, legal decision, which we call it as case laws. There are n number of landmark judgment case laws which are given because the act was silent. Now, act one side favors the SSC, other side favors the department. The both will use their respective favors. They keep on fighting. SSC will try to escape from the tax liability. Department will always try to tax that that particular person. In such a cases, who will win it? When the act is not clear, they go to the court. The court has given number of landmark judgments. These judgments are also important for us to understand the subject. So here the components of income tax law has got your act, you have got annual finance act, you have got income tax rules, circulars and legal decisions. These all put together is our income tax. Okay. So this is all the basic and introduction to your income tax law.